Alright, I just gave the players some instructions that are very important. Indy confirmed, Serral confirmed, MaxPax confirmed, and I'm just waiting for TKL to also confirm, because he is also in the game. And then we are good to go. So as soon as TKL says yes, alright. 5 minutes into the first game, the prediction will be closed. So if you guys want to be a part of, well, probably the biggest prediction game that we have ever run on this channel, you've got until minute 5 in the very first game. First time in 14 months that we have world's best Protoss against world's best Zerg. Obviously, they're both in Europe, no latency. This should be as good as it gets. I was as excited as a little boy yesterday night, guys. Like, I legit had trouble falling asleep. And I said it earlier tonight, it kind of feels like it's a big MMA boxing night. Canelo is fighting, Fury is fighting, John Jones is fighting. It's like, it just feels special. And yeah, the other games are fun, and yes, you're trying to enjoy it, but you're mostly looking forward to that main event. And that main event starts here. Friday night video gaming, Big Brain Bouts number 80. That means that Basilisk has already given out $40,000 over the last 2 years in the Big Brain Bouts, which I think is absolutely fantastic. All the love to the best orc out there for me. Speaking of great orcs, by the way, Team Liquid earlier today revealed a new logo. I wanted to show it, but I forgot about it. Take a look at that Twitter. We obviously love TL, and that logo looks great. It looks clean. But today, it's not about TL. As much as I love TL, it's not about TL. Let's do it, guys.
Let's get it on. Round 1, fight.
A best of 5. The winner gets $150. The loser gets 50. Once more, it's the first time in 14 months that these guys play an official series against one another. The last time Serral won, there's also a chance they play against each other again next weekend in the Masters Coliseum. So that would be kind of funny. In the bottom right side, we are looking at the Holy Prince of Denmark, representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And if this man is down to play in the Big Brain Bouts, there are very few potential opponents out there. It's a really bad time for Koreans. So if you're looking for Europe, yeah, Clem is an opponent, Reynor is an opponent. Last time we did ShoWTime, and it was a fun series, but he was still, in the end, just a little bit too strong. So we had limited options. We went for Max. This man, of course, is the Finnish phenom himself, representing Basilisk. It is Serral. We are closing the prediction at minute 5. So everybody has 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to place their predictions. At minute 5, the prediction gets closed. Let's do it. Serral has taken the triangle. I guess the probe of Max was very early there. We had a little hedge block happening. Highly doubt that Serral did that voluntarily. We already have the little mini games. MaxPax trying to be annoying. Occupying this little mineral patch, mining, stopping mining, continuing to mine, just to make sure that Serral cannot mine from it. It's the little things that matter on this level. I'm expecting a lot of Oracle play coming out of MaxPax tonight. A different amount of Protoss players, that they love the Twilight openings, and we've seen even some Robo first, but that's very rare. We're expecting a lot of Oracle play coming out of Max. If you don't see the prediction, you might have a tiny Twitch bug. You press F5 and then the prediction should show up. How good was MaxPax when Abyssal was new? So when Abyssal was around the first time, I don't think that Max was all that good, but he was definitely playing. Probably around like 5,300, 5,400 MMR back then. I remember a long time ago, I used to play some ladder games. And once in a while, I would lose a Phoenix against Phoenix game. Against a Protoss I'd never heard of that was called MaxPax. And I was kind of annoyed, because he was way lower ranked than me. And I was like, why do I lose 45 points to this MaxPax guy? I had no idea who he was. I thought it was maybe somebody else. Yeah, that was then. Avoid Ray first, guys. So it's Avoid Ray first coming out of Max. First adept makes it the other side of the map. I'm not expecting Serral to lose a drone here. MaxPax does not want to cancel the shade. The moment you decide to cancel the shade there, you're basically going to lose the adept, because then the Zerglings turn around, maybe drones get a shot off, queens get a shot off. MaxPax does not want to lose an adept that early. He's been playing for a while, Thorn. He's been playing for quite some time. Void Ray activates Prismatic Alignment to take out the Overlord. If you're a Zerg and you go up against Void Ray first, on one hand you feel confident because you know Orc will show up later and you're not in danger of losing any drones immediately. But what is annoying is that at this point you basically can't check the natural, you can't check the main base anymore. And if an immediate Twilight Council goes down and immediately 7 gateways go down, yeah, you'd love to know about that sooner rather than later. Void Ray makes the other side of the map. Spore Crawler not quite done yet. MaxPax gets a drone with a Void Ray. Honestly, that's quite rare. Final 30 seconds, guys, of your Twitch prediction. Get your prediction in now, or don't be upset if you couldn't make one. Wow. Earlier this... Wow, it's the second Stargate, by the way. Second Stargate and a fourth. So we're gonna see some proper late game coming out of Max, if Serral lets him. Oracle activates Pulsar Beam, flies into the third, gets a couple drones. Honestly, pretty good start so far coming out of the Prince of Denmark. Also delaying a potential very quick fourth hatchery. People were talking about 5 million channel points. Well, it seems like we've got almost 13 million channel points on this single best of 5. That is insane. I don't think I've ever seen those numbers on my channel. MaxPax gets a cancel on the fourth as well with that Void and the Oracle. Honestly, guys, great start. 5 minutes in for the Prince of Denmark. Has not lost a unit yet. And look at this. It is additional Void Rays and +1 air weapons. Wow. Additional Voids and +1 air weapons. Yeah, that is not what was on my bingo card for tonight. We, of course, had a Void Ray meta a long time ago, but... spicy. For the longest time, I've been very vocal about not loving the Void. I am curious to see what Max will do. Serral obviously does not know yet about those additional Voids. He is gonna build a Spire. Honestly, this could be very bad. Because just because MaxPax opens up with Void Rays doesn't mean he can't go back into Phoenix. And if MaxPax would just go Phoenixes, I mean, Phoenixes with +1 are great against Corruptors too. I think this Spire is more like in case MaxPax has a carrier follow-up or goes into Tempest early. Serral now sees not 3 but even 4 Void Rays. Queens should be okay here. Yeah, Queens are okay. Of course, Queens are okay. Serral activates the Stasis Trap as well. There's a couple of random stray adepts that have made it all the way into the natural. MaxPax continues to find damage. Really good army movement so far coming out of the young man from Denmark. Of course, Serral still has a strong economy. 11 additional drones on the way. So no panic yet on the side of the Finnish Phenom, but yeah, I can't imagine that MaxPax is unhappy with this game so far. But the 4 Voids is a pretty serious investment. I don't think the additional Void Rays have fully done a whole lot so far. I mean, they're gonna keep him safe. That's very rare, by the way. Serral with 10 Overlords on the production tab. That's not something we see very often. I can imagine that MaxPax was probably hoping for one moment where he would either take a great fight against the Queens or he would get on top of a hatchery with prismatic alignment. This is, I think, potentially a great revelation. Yes, it sees the Spire as well, and it might even see a couple of the Mutas hatch. Let's follow the view of MaxPax for a split second. As you guys can see, MaxPax keeps track of that third base, keeps track of the fourth base. He wants to know what comes out of all these eggs. And he's now mostly macroing, takes another look, sees the Spire, has not quite seen a Muta yet. Or maybe he did, because he's got Phoenixes on the way and a fleet beacon. And the supply streams Serral, but in theory, MaxPax should be able to make a lot of the correct choices here. 9 minutes into Abyssal Reef. MaxPax doesn't have a great army, but if he can just kill those Mutas, the Phoenixes can take care of it. I wouldn't hate any Impulse Crystal here. He sees it with the Zealots, by the way. That is big. We've got Storm as well. Void Rays, of course. Ooh, we're gonna have to morph these into Archons. Yeah. Okay, a little bit painful for Max that he uses all 4 High Templars immediately and he loses 2 of them. But from here on out, he should be fine against the Mutalisk. Phoenix a tiny bit inactive. Serral is on a crazy amount of roaches. At this point, this is a distraction maneuver, and it's a lot more about this. Obviously, MaxPax has a read on that, drops a storm, and he's even saving these rocks for a little bit. Serral does have Hive on the way, so it seems like Serral does not think he's necessarily going to win the game with this, but make no mistake, this is an investment. Especially if the queens are going to battle, and the queens are a little bit exposed, but MaxPax does not want to go away from these cannons, from these batteries. The Mutas guys are all gone. Every single Mutalisk has died. At this point, Serral has lost 2,700 resources more. What a stasis by Max. I mean, it's one of these scenarios where MaxPax is down 50 supply, but you gotta love it for MaxPax at this point. Because a lot of that supply of Serral is in production. A lot of it is stuck in stasis trappies. More units stuck in stasis traps. I think MaxPax is flying so far. Even if he's down in supply, I think it looks really good for Max. As long as he does not mess up here. And most of the time, the Prince of Denmark doesn't mess up a whole lot. Immortal count is not mega high, but we've got Archons, we've got Void Rays on the side of the Protoss. If Serral can get the Nexus though, that is at least something. Serral definitely needs to get something done here. And ooh, Lance Karosaba on the Void Rays. He seems to do that, eh? We've seen that before. Void Rays landing on... or Karosabas landing on Void Rays. Wow. A few Zealots make it into that original expand of Serral, the triangle, and there is nothing there. But Serral does get the base, that is great. Serral continues to be aggressive, but now there is Tempest out as well, and the Tempests are really going to ruin this little Ravager Queen party. It's a good attack so far by Serral, but I don't think this is a game-ending attack. I think if you're Serral right now, you gotta be happy with what you got, you try to buy some time, and you get ready for the next phase in the game. He's done great economic damage to MaxPax. Took a little bit of damage at home, but he rebuilt those workers so quickly. Corrosive balls do not connect this time. Few more Zealots go for a tiny run by, maybe on this base, maybe the natural, but Serral is continuing to finding some good pickups here. Gets an Archon too. Serral has made this work, one way or the other. Serral has absolutely made this work. Zealots did not make it into the natural. The creep denying MaxPax from taking this base is so painful. Phoenixes will live. I think MaxPax is now realizing that Serral is just kind of wasting his time and his buying time. And is not really trying to kill him on the 3 bases that he has. And this is where Serral will bleed out a lot of units very quickly. MaxPax got a mothership on the way. Serral fires up 12 Corruptors. Serral's got a great drone count, but he doesn't have a massive bank. It's an interesting first game. 5 bases against 3, of course, great for the Zerg. But not being maxed out, not having the best upgrades, and being on a relatively basic army could still be scary for Serral. MaxPax got a bigger army supply at this point. And it's a real army, right? It's Void Rays, it's Tempest, it's Archons, High Templars, Immortals, Mothership on the production tab. MaxPax is once more trying to go up to 4 bases. Corruptors find the Void Rays, but the Corruptors can stick around here. They'll get 1. Serral has to be careful here, but he's trying to keep this Protoss army busy, and that will allow the Roaches to get a cancel on the 4th. Obviously great moves here by Iona. As he continues to find damage, a couple workers. I think delaying this base is big. First getting the kill is big, and now getting a cancel, a couple probes. And the Spire, of course, by Serral is gonna do his thing. Slowly but steady, he too will get good upgrades. MaxPax, despite all these air units, has never started +2 air weapons. I do want to say I think that is a mistake. I would have loved to see him have +2 by now. You've got Tempest, you've got Void Rays, you've got Phoenixes. Corruptors need to be cautious here. 16 Corruptors. Tiny mistake there by Serral. These 2 Corruptors were obviously not supposed to split off the pack, but Serral's going up to 6 bases as MaxPax is trying to get a 4th. And I'm chuckling because he's storming his own Immortal. Time Warp goes down. A lot of free shots here for MaxPax. Serral is just buying some time, trying to get his 6th base truly up and running. It was in production for a while, and now we're starting to saturate it. We've got Vipers on the way. Even have the Ultralist upgrades finish up. This is not the spot. This is not the spot for Corruptus. MaxPax with a couple of well-placed cannons. It seems like the Prince is just gonna play some tower defense for a little bit. Says, alright, I don't believe in staying on 3 bases. I want to say I don't really believe in moving out. And then he's kind of moving out. He was on 3 bases for a while. He's now on 4 and going up to 5. So his air upgrades, how are they looking? +1 flyer attacks? Is that it? Don't see any Carapace. I thought he had Carapace on the way. Not using the Spire at the moment. Both players are maxed out. 15 minutes into game 1 of the main event with Big Brain Bouts. Serral with a potential beautiful engagement gets on top of the army, but there's still a lot of firepower in this Protoss army. The corrosive balls though, those were sweet. I mean, they both lost a lot. Those Ravages, they did a serious number on this Protoss army. But yeah, all these Archons, they have so much HP. MaxPax got another Zealot run by, heading towards that original 3rd base, but I think the focus should be on this fight. Take a little look. Does Serral have an answer for these Zealots? Yeah, we've got some Zerglings making their way over. We got Spines buying time, so focus back on this fight. The Storms, they continue to soften up this Zerg army, and Serral's got 6 Broodlords now. Do we believe in the Broodlords with 4 Tempest out? Kind of feels that Serral is in a tiny bit of trouble once more. But very often Serral does his best work when he's in trouble. It's starting to look like MaxPax got Serral on the ropes here in game 1. The Zergling counterattack is fantastic. No cannons here, no battery, no units. That's actually going to force out a recall. Great play by Serral. Because having this big old Protoss army standing at your front door in your face, Tempest getting free shots off, not pleasant. That counterattack by Serral, fantastic. MaxPax does not want to lose another base, does not want to lose even more workers, goes for the recall, and this is going to give Serral some time to rebuild his dream army and have a better answer for what Max is working with. Serral now fires up +2. He's got single Spires. Spires are obviously expensive. And this is not a game where Serral has truly been swimming in the dough. Units lost resource step somewhat even, right? 3,000-4,000 difference. Nothing mega extreme for this matchup. Hello, Porty. Shout out to GWZ and Speed Racer. I appreciate you guys. MaxPax's +2 air weapons has finished up and he fires up +3 immediately. There's a banger of a first game. It is living up to the hype. It's living up to my expectations. This has been like 9 months in the making for me, by the way, guys. I am as a child so happy that obviously MaxPax agreed, but MaxPax always agree. MaxPax is down to play at any moment. He is the anytime, any place kind of Starcraft 2 player. I'm quite certain if I would ask him at a random 4 AM day to play best of 5 against me, he'd be like, yeah, what's the prize pool? Sure, I'm in. Serral obviously is not somebody who's always able to play and is not always down to play. Definitely believes in like hiding certain things for big events and taking his time. But Jonas said, oh, you want a awesome first Big Brain Bouts of the year? I'll give it to you. And I'm very grateful to Serral. Couple of big bongos landing on all High Templars, but the Corruptors are getting some serious damage from these Archons. Archons standing underneath Corruptors is very painful for any Zerg. Getting the High Templars is great, but MaxPax does have a good economy, so he can absolutely rebuild those. And that was only half of the army of Max. But it was also only half the army of Serral. Corruptor count that is remaining only 6. I am a tiny bit concerned about attacking with only 6 Corruptors. I think Serral needs more NTR. Or at least needs more Corruptors. MaxPax's army just looks so powerful. A running joke is obviously that this is hell for the Zerg. A lot of scenarios are hell for Zergs, but I do think that this is indeed that hell that the Zergs often talk about. When the Protoss is rich on 5 bases, has range with the Tempest, has cloaking with the Mothership, has good upgrades, storm for days. It is so tough as a Zerg to find great engagements. And if anyone is gonna find them, it is Serral. As Serral protects his main base against the Warp Prism play. Only the first game, guys. The first of 5 games. Oh my goodness. And 20 minutes in. I don't know who's taking it. I don't know who's taking it. The mothership is exposed. Corruptors are very well spread out this time. So the Archon hits are nowhere near as big as they were before. And that is a dead mothership. But I am certain it's not the last mothership we are going to see. There is another big army of MaxPax in the top right side. Serral seems like he didn't quite expect to run into all these units. 11 Corruptors, 9 Brutes on the side of the man from BASILISK. MaxPax does have 14 Zealots in his army. So that is 28 army supply that we don't have to take ultra serious. But is obviously great for counterattacks and little ways to distract his opponent. Queens get revelated and a few of them are going to fall rather quickly. It is really cool to see this high level Starcraft where they're both walking around with 2 big important armies. None of this F2A moving 200 supply on top of each other and let's go for it. No, there is so much mobility in these armies. It's very awesome to see this very dynamic style of play. It is so difficult because you try to do this yourself and you're not paying attention. You lose a bunch of important units and your game is over. But yeah, if you're looking at world's best, and you're going to see it. And you can only really appreciate it. Max does not feel like he's got enough anti-air here, so he's going to run this army to the bottom left side. He's going to clean up some of the creeps. Serral has done an amazing job in renewing those creep tombs over and over again. There's 5 Ravagers, 1 on top of the bottom base. I'm obviously not reading chats too much, guys. There's too much happening when these two guys play against each other. In between the games, I'll be yapping and I'll be reading chat, but if I do get blessed with a Serral MaxPax series on the Friday night in the Big Brain Bouts, we're gonna pay attention. Warp Prism lives long enough to warp in a couple Zealots into the main base. 3 Zealots unfortunately are AFK, they're chilling. In the end they are forced to fight. Still a tiny army. MaxPax can obviously use a tactical recall with this mothership. Keep an eye on that. I almost feel like the plan here is to force Serral, to bait Serral into moving almost his entire army to the top right side. And then MaxPax might hit us with a recall towards the bottom left. And it will be hard for Serral to move all of his forces over in time. 22 minutes. This could be that recall moment. A big fungal lens. I think this is where MaxPax will recall everything. We'll lose a few Tempest in the process, but here we go. Now Serral has to deal with this army. And it's obviously always so difficult to be the one to engage into your opponent in different matchups, but especially in this one too. The Zerg units like to clump up, and clumping your units up against all these Storms and Archons can be painful. Well, Serral's done a very good job so far. At the same time though, when MaxPax realizes that Serral obviously moves his entire army to the bottom left side, the Zealots get on top of a very important base, and right when Serral looks at that base, he actually kind of runs into the army of MaxPax as MaxPax lands a couple of massive storms on these Broodlords. I'm starting to wonder, how does Serral get a good fight against this Protoss army? MaxPax is just not letting it happen. And now they're both losing some workers, a couple Zerglings here doing their thing. It's hard for a Zerg to recover from eating that many storms and these non-stop Tempest shots that are landing from far away. Serral has added in a Viper. We've got 6 Infestors. We've got Neuroparasite. We've got everything basically. Now we need to find a way for Serral to get a great engagement. Max does not really have great armor upgrades. He's getting +1 air armor right now. He's getting +1 shields. Especially all these Archons would have absolutely benefited from having bigger shield upgrades. 10 more Zealots. Not too much creep remaining. Decent banks on both sides, but needless to say, these armies are a whole lot more valuable than what they are currently working with. So if one player loses everything, the game is pretty much over. You're not rebuilding this kind of an army of 2600 gas. A fungal does land. Can we get a parabomb as well? We get a second fungal. MaxPax is going to recall out. Does not like how this looks. Once more recalls everything to the bottom left side, as that is where the mothership was. And now Serral is again forced to return all the way home. Oracle flies over a couple of spore crawlers. Serral will lose this base. A bunch of zealots and a prism are ready to take out this base once more. I mean, it's an insane game. It is absolutely an insane first game between these two. Not every ZVP will look like this. And there are moments where I hate the Tempest Storm stuff. But you can't say that this is a boring PvZ. You can't say nothing is happening and we're just chilling. Both players are trying to make stuff happen. They have been out and about. First few carriers on the way. With few, I mean 4 carriers immediately on the side of Max, as he did manage to get another cancel. Income right now slightly in favor of Max, but honestly they're both kind of broke. 1500 minerals a minute for Max, 1200 minerals a minute for Serral. This is a 1 base economy. Just superior gas income, but this is not a whole lot anymore. Serral is gonna get a second Great Aspire by the looks of it. Maybe afraid to lose the first one. Units lost resource step, still somewhat close to one another. As a Fungo does land on 2 of the Immortals. Corruptor count is high. We're looking at 21 Corruptors. Serral also once more getting on top of this bottom base with his Zerglings. The Zerglings of course are insane. We've got +3 melee. I want to say we should have a Reynor Lens, but we don't. Unless I am blind. That's definitely a bit of a mistake, right? Like, I know this game has not been all about the links, but Serral has lost 224 links. He's got money in the bank. Does not have a Reynor Lens. Surprising. Unless I'm blind. But I don't think I'm blind. We don't have the Tempest upgrade, but that's something like that I can live with. I think it's a lot more about the army, and the Tempest upgrade, yeah, that's gonna be nice in killing a hatchery a bit quicker. Well, I would not say that that is as big as not having a Reynor. I mean, at this point there's so many Archons that maybe the Zerglings die anyway, but Adrenos is one of these things that you always want to get. It makes the links so powerful. Day 9 used to call it the most important upgrade in the game. It was a classic of the Wings of Liberty days. As a little storm lands on a couple of these links, they'll get on top, but yeah. Links not quite as feisty as it should be. Got 4 carriers in the mix as well. Serral's got 21 Corruptors. I would say we need more Vipers here, right? I know it's hard. I know there's a lot of High Templars. I know it's Tempest with range and Oracles drop Revelations, but it just seems that a second or a third Viper won't hurt all that much. Parabomb is so sick. Abducts can be useful. Yeah, I know, Eba. Oh. I'm not saying that we need 10 Vipers, but only 1. Just to even have like double Parabomb. In case, right now if we get feedback, we can't even land a single Parabomb, and that's just kind of sad. Corruptors are gonna dive on top of this mothership. Serral had enough of these tactical recalls. This was supposed to start at 9 PM by the way. It's almost 9 PM right now, and well, we're still in game 1, so they're getting us back on the original schedule. I've been showing units lost throughout the game. It's still within 4,000. It is not too much separating these two. The armies are mega valuable. Serral's army is quite a bit more valuable even than MaxPax's army. It's a little bit bigger. As we do land the tiny Fongo, a couple feedbacks land on the Infestors. MaxPax will recall out, and not for the first time this game. As he's rebuilding his mothership. Having his hands on this base is obviously big. Current income, still not looking like much, to be completely honest. No one is really balling here. No one is balling. Tempest shots on the Broodlords. 1 Brood does die immediately. Serral unburrows the Infestors. MaxPax got a decent amount of Zealots and Archons and a High Templar in the middle of all these bases. There are some Lurkers that are going to make their way over. A little Storm lands. Gonna push it back. Few more Zealots storming into the natural. This is beautiful army movement by Max. It's so annoying as a Zerg to deal with. When you're flying around with all these Corruptors, when you've got so many Broodlords, the last thing you want to do is turn around for a couple Zealots and Archons over and over again. And in a lot of scenarios, guys, this is not an option. Because the Zerg will have 24 Spine Crawlers and vision everywhere. But MaxPax obviously has been battling Serral over that vision for the longest time, which makes it a little bit more likely for him to sneak some zealots throughout these corridors. But he is also losing a lot of units. As we pointed out a few times, nobody is rich at this point. The income is still, it's honestly a bit sad. 1400 minerals is not a whole lot. And then even throwing away a few zealots and a few Archons hurts. Is there a world where Serral loses this? I can guarantee you that there are an insane amount of Zergs that will lose from this position against MaxPax. Once more, to quote our good friend Mixu, this situation right here is hell for the Zerg. But that is for your ordinary Zerg. Serral is not an ordinary Zerg. It's still going to be difficult to find a great fight against all the High Templars and the Tempest. The contact lens is bugging me. I am blind. There's a neuroparasite lens on one of the Tempests. A nice fungal lens as well. Serral already splitting up his army. A few feedback lens. The Viper pops immediately. But the parasitic bomb, the loco maneuver. Is this going to be the final fight of Abyssal Reef? 31 minutes in. The Corruptus reigns supreme. And after 31 minutes, it is Serral who takes the 1-0 lead over MaxPax. What a game. Holy hell. Well, I'm already happy, guys. I am already happy. We were waiting for Serral versus MaxPax for a very long time. We've got the best of 5 that we wanted. And the first game was 31 minutes. With both of them having some fantastic plays. Both of them displaying greatness. In the end, it is Serral taking the 1-0 lead. That was awesome. But there's a chance that it's going to be a whole lot more. Maps, I have the map order for you guys, I think. Yes, so Abyssal Reef first. Second is MaxPax's map choice. He wants Amygdala. Third was Serral, picks Ultra Love. Fourth, MaxPax, King's Cove. And if we get to game 5, which I think is what a lot of you guys hope for, we will make it into ley lines. So game 2, Amygdala, MaxPax's map choice. Serious prediction about the upcoming match. That is going to be fucking awesome. That's my serious prediction. Shout out to X-Su-Witch, by the way, for the 19 months, saying this is prime MaxPax. Serral has no place in this series. Well, Serral's up 1-0, mate. But thank you for the 19 months. Honestly, guys, completely okay to have your favorites. And yes, I am teammates with Serral, but you guys are allowed to cheer for MaxPax as much as you want. But let's stay nice. Both of these guys are obviously absolutely fucking godlike. No way around it. You cheer for Serral, awesome. You cheer for MaxPax, awesome. But don't put the other one down while cheering for one. Not asking for a lot. Cheer for whoever you want to cheer for. But keep it nice. Show respect to these two. I mean, let's be honest. Proper Gosus, as we used to call them in my little day.
Round 2, fight!
Top right side of Amygdala. This is his map choice. We are looking at the main base of the Prince of Denmark, who absolutely had opportunities in that first game, but in the end was not able to get that one final fight that he was dreaming of. That one great recall that would truly catch his opponent off guard. It is Psystorm Gaming's MaxPax. It's been with Psystorm Gaming for a long time at this point. Shout out to KJ and all the other awesome people that are a member of Psystorm. They have done really good things for especially North American Starcraft, but obviously recruiting some Europeans as well over the last few years. In the bottom left side, we are looking at the main base of the man who has now been with BASILISK for a year and a half approximately, if I have to guess. The Finnish Phenom, the finisher, it is Serral. I'm not going to list his accomplishments. I believe a wise man once said, lol, look it up yourself. How's he doing, by the way? Is he still doing good? Alright, as we have a hopefully slow and steady start to game 2. Can re-chat a little bit. Shout out to Estray for the prime, really appreciate it. Gwell as well with the 31 months. Percy with the 4 months. Hype, what a nice game already. Yeah, I'm already happy, just want some more. So. I don't know if I can actually survive 5 games of that in a row though. 5 times 30 minutes. That might be a little much. Donations off. I have disabled all the alerts while these games are happening because a lot of people watch these games back on YouTube. Not everybody has the time to be at home on a Friday night to hang out in my Twitch channel. And I think it's mega annoying for people. Even if you're watching it live, it can be annoying, right? But especially if you're watching this back on YouTube and you just want to enjoy MaxPax versus Serral. If you guys have non-stop text-to-speech and stops, that's just annoying. So we always disable that for, especially for big series, but for most of the series that get posted on YouTube, we disable it. That doesn't mean they're not appreciated. I'm here. But that's not what it's about. Basilisk is very good to me, and me running these events already makes it a good night. It's there. I will see it. It just won't show on stream. No webcam in Serral. I never use player cameras. This is obviously a one-man production. No one else is helping out with this. I am the one who gets the matches going. I'm the one who streams it. I could find a world to tell the players to connect to Zoom and see their cameras and get them in my OBS, but it's a lot of work. It makes it more likely for stuff to go wrong, and for a little one-man adventure, I prefer to pass on that. I know Star Swarm, and do you know why I know that? Because I watched Shrinking on HBO. It's a fun series. And they were actually talking about it. And I was like, hey, I know that word. I play Starcraft on that map. I recommend Shrinking, by the way, guys. Fun series. And in Season 2, they talk about it. A very quick third base for Max. No Void Ray first this time, guys. It is his trademark Oracle first. Second Oracle as well. In the old patch, on the old meta, MaxPax would very often go triple Oracle. I want to say that triple Oracle has fallen a tiny bit out of fashion, because it's less likely that a single Oracle can get anything done against these overpowered mega spores and a single queen. So I think MaxPax has kind of said goodbye to the triple Oracle stuff. Well, I'm sure we'll still see it from time to time, but it's just, I think it's a bit less powerful. Oracles got better in a way because of energy recharge, right? More energy for pulsar beams, stasis crafts, revelations, all the good stuff. But it is less likely that a single Oracle can find anything in a base against the Queen and a Spore. MaxPax makes a very uncharacteristic mistake. You won't see that often, guys. MaxPax losing an Oracle before minute 5. Trying to zap down a couple drones that were bouncing from the natural to the third. And obviously at every level, losing an Oracle is a big deal. But losing an Oracle against Serral is a really big deal. Did get a bit of economic damage and a little bit of lost mining time. But I can guarantee you guys, MaxPax will never ever be happy with losing an Oracle this early. It is definitely important to get 1 or 2 drones. If MaxPax gets like 4 or 5 drones and it keeps the Oracles alive, the earlier you get them, the better. It is a very big deal. If you get nothing with 2 Oracles, doesn't mean you're in trouble. Not necessarily, but it does mean that you're gonna have to do a lot of things right in the next few minutes of this game. Well, I'm a bit shocked, guys. I'm just so not used to MaxPax losing Oracles. But I also think that MaxPax obviously knows beating Serral is omega difficult. So he's also willing to push the boundaries just a tiny bit further and try to be a little bit greedier. Stick around a little bit longer. You know, if he's playing a PvZ where he knows that he's the favorite in literally every phase of the game, early game, mid game, late game, he doesn't need to take a risk. But once you're meeting your makers, yeah, you're gonna have to push those boundaries a tiny bit. And that's why perhaps we saw him lose that Oracle. +1 melee on the way for Serral and 12 Zerglings, as we've got him double expanding an infestation pit. MaxPax already moving out with Blinkstalkers and +1 does have a Robo. Coming online in natural, wipes in the Temple Archives as well. I want to say that Serral should be able to deal with this. He should be more than capable of dealing with this. We've got 32 links, we've got some queens. Stasis Trap is always scary. MaxPax needs to be mega cautious with that Oracle. I don't think his original plan was to build 3 Oracles, by the way. I think he only built the second one after he lost the first one. Yes. A single Oracle just cannot really give his Stalkers the protection that he needs against all these Zerglings. So far, the Blinkstalker Micro on the side of MaxPax quite clean. Serral looking for the right engagement. As a Zerg, you're always going to bleed out some units here. It's just kind of inevitable. Serral just wants to make sure that he doesn't lose too many important units. Don't lose too many queens, don't lose too many roaches. Losing a few lings here and there is fine. Big stasis preppy perhaps. Nope, Serral splits up some units to activate it, but eventually MaxPax does find the stasis trap that he's looking for. Now immediately blinks forward, guns down a couple of roaches. Serral did such a good job in denying that first stasis from being impactful, but the second one is the one he did not expect. We need a recall, and we will get a recall. Lose one stalker. No, the target fire gets the second one too. Alright. At least MaxPax gets a base. Gets a couple roaches. Force Serral to make a lot of units. In the end, I'd say that was successful for Serral. For Max. Max should be happy with that. Nice target fire though on the stalkers there towards the end. Hi Vizdon, Serral. This time, by the way, guys, 8 minutes in, Reynor glance immediately. Does not want to find himself in another 35-minute game. There's a small issue with my cable, by the way, guys. Whenever I move back and forth, my camera temporarily disconnects. I have finally redone all the wiring below my desk, because my setup looked like a bit of a dump. Now it looks a whole lot cleaner, but now there's an issue with this cable. It's kind of annoying me. It's obviously not a big deal. We're still here. We're still live. Friday night, Big Brain Bouts. Can't promise that next week is going to be as exciting as MaxPax Serral, but just know that I do always do my best to get some fun games going and obviously give love, not just to the best players, but also to the guys below that. Hatchery got killed? No, cancelled. I guess Serral just cancelled immediately. Obviously, this is the hatch that got killed earlier. Serral splits up some Zerglings, gets on top of the Zealots immediately. More stasis traps going down. Fleet Beacon on the way. 5 Lurkers finishing up. These Lurkers don't have their sexy hive tech upgrades yet, though. A lot of High Templars in the mix. Serral's gonna have to be very, very cautious on how he engages this. But of course, MaxPax needs to be mega cautious with his blink. Especially the Zerglings with Adrenal Glands and the Lurkers can be amazing. MaxPax drops a couple storms and walks back to the low ground. I think a War Prism is about to sneak into the main base. That is big. Observer here is big. 2 Lurkers very low in HP. It's all because of this Prism. Because of this Prism, Serral needs to move so many units towards the left. That opens the doors for MaxPax once more to get on top of a hatchery. High Templar is very exposed. Forced to morph them into Archons, and in the end, guys, Serral kind of holds here, gets a great fight, gets a lot of key units, and didn't even lose a lot of workers. That was a stunning defense by Serral. Now it's not totally over yet. MaxPax still has a Prism in the main. It seems like MaxPax is gonna get the spawning pool this time. Do we have a Baning Nest by now? No Baning Nest. So the pool does go down. War Prism will get picked off by Queens. No. Corruptus then? I don't think we want to waste a recall on a single low HP Prism. So I think Max will probably just Max will probably just get this Prism here. I think the recalls are just a little bit too important. There are moments where you do want to recall a Prism, but this is not one of them. 11 minutes in. Proper 4-base setup. The Prism will be remembered as the one that was responsible for that spawning pool going down. Lurker gets picked off, Stasis Preppy gets activated, few storms land immediately. Running into all these cannons is the most difficult part. Serral's got an army that is absolutely capable of battling the units of MaxPax. It's just getting in range of these cannons, having to worry about a battery. They'll snipe the High Templar here. Well, Lurker's definitely doing that thing. 3 Tempests are out, 3 more on the production tab. I mean, MaxPax should be fine. Might lose the Nexus though, but shouldn't be a whole lot more than that. At this point, the corrupt account is just not there yet for Serral. Serral's of course aware of that. Just wants to slow the economy down of Max a little, bleed out some units, get rid of some supply to replace it with more Corruptus. MaxPax clicks a couple of zealots on this bottom base. There is an observer in the mix. There is one immortal in the mix as well. Losing your ops is really annoying because now you can't continue to be aggressive here because you can't detect the lurkers anymore. 13 lurkers are out on the map. The Tempest of MaxPax are doing their thing. Serral buying some time. Current corrupt count is 10. Against the 9 Stalkers, the 7 Tempest, the Mothership, some Storms to worry about. I don't think it's quite an ideal amount of Corruptors yet. Serral, of course, is aware of it. He's gonna try to buy some time. We've got some Dropper Lords picking up a few Lurkers. That is gonna keep MaxPax busy. There's a single cannon in the natural, but that's not going to reach until this area. Corruptors try to make a dive on the Mothership. That does not work out. Cloaking gets activated immediately. MaxPax has found himself in a really good spot here. This is going to be very difficult for Serral to deal with. The Lurkers will buy some time that are being dropped into the natural, but if I was MaxPax, I wouldn't really panic over it immediately. Like, this is annoying, but just pull those workers away. Maybe make a single Void Ray for all I care. Void Ray observing, you take care of it. MaxPax gets the hatchery. Serral sends a few Zerglings to get on top of this base, but the cannons and batteries should take care of it. The Tempest count is pretty legit. Corruptor count is at 10. This is still not quite it. Serral's got 600 gas in the bank. We're making a few Hydras right now. We're making 10 Hydras. So Serral is going to empty the piggy bank. I'm trying to get as many Hydras as possible, but the High Templars are still there. I'm very worried for Serral, guys. He's up in supply, but I am worried. Okay, this is a much more serious lurk counterattack. Like, if I was Max at this point, I'd just like make one Void Ray, right? I don't see any anti-air here. A single Void is so useful. Instead, we recall the army back home to the original third. A single Void with an Observer and Prismatic Alignment on these lurkers to just make your life a little bit easier. And after that, you can always build some carriers. And last game, not having the Tempest upgrade is something that I could live with, because I felt it was a lot more about battling the army, but this game MaxPax has indeed been in range of important buildings so often, and it would have just made his life so much easier when it comes to gunning down these hatcheries. Corrupt count at 13. Serral gets the Nexus once more. MaxPax has taken care of these rocks near the gold in the center. And the game will go on. Serral fires up a Viper. Not all the Vipers, but a Viper. What an awesome best of 5 this has been so far. 45 minutes of MaxPax versus Serral. And I feel other than the first 4 minutes, there really is no downtime. They're always in each other's face. They're always at least trying to cook something up. They're always getting ready for the next battle. Not quite Reynor versus Spirit of earlier today. Eh? We started streaming Starcraft 9 hours ago this morning. Or 9 hours? Yeah. 9 hours ago. Couple ladder games into 2 best of 5s of the Masters Coliseum. A big online tournament that is happening throughout the entire month of January. The games today were not quite it. The PvP unfortunately a little bit one-sided. And Reynor against Spirit was something. Had its moments, I guess. Reynor hated every second of it. I believe that. I think Game 3 was fun, though. Game 3 was alright, but I think Game 1 and Game 2 were not Reynor his favorite games. He got the job done. He did what he had to do. Corrupt count is a lot more serious now, by the way. Earlier we were looking at 7 Corruptors, 10 Corruptors. That's just not quite it. We're now looking at 27 Corruptors. And this is where it becomes a whole lot harder for that Golden Armada to shine. Now Serral of course does not have the bank that he had on Abyssal Reef, does not have access to all the bases that he had on Abyssal Reef. But he does have a silly amount of Corruptors. And I wonder how MaxPax is going to do the next time they fight. Oh, we land a couple of massive storms on the lurkers. Is there any detection left? Yes. Very tiny recall, that's an interesting. Where are those units going? To the natural, okay. Well, that means that this army can't get recalled, because that was a Nexus recall. That was not the mothership recall, that was a Nexus recall. Means that this army is kind of committed here. And Serral knows that. What does Serral have on the ground? We have 14 lurkers. Definitely a little late on the +1. But I always get bullied when I talk about +1 air weapons or +2s. I'll let you guys be the judge of the timing of that one. I'll stay out of it. This army cannot get recalled. We have just recalled the 2 Immortals and a High Templar, and that means that MaxPax is forced to fight. But how on earth do you fight 29 Corruptors diving on top of your carriers and Tempest and Mothership? Well, you're not really going to fight it in the skies, but you will fight it on the ground. The 3 Immortals and the Sagas are like, alright, see you later, guys. Good luck, have fun. We're out of here. Serral wins this fight. I have to feel this tiny recall, that questionable. Because of that, the recall is on cooldown. It's still nowhere near done. Yeah, then that army that's so far out on the map is kind of committed. Max is only working with 8 gateways. It's 8 gateways, 1 robo, triple Stargate. Very little creep on the side of Serral. And Serral is gonna have a hard time getting his hands on a 5th base, because MaxPax keeps on denying this one. And this center base, good luck, have fun dealing with that if Tempest can get in this range, right? If you have a couple Archons, a Mothership, and High Templar standing in the center, you're gonna have a very hard time mining off that gold. Just like MaxPax will have a hard time mining off that gold if Lurkers are in range. The unit's lost resource tab shows us that Serral has lost 6,500 resources more. I'd say that's actually quite good for Max, considering the fact that Serral has never been mega rich in this game. Did mine more for a little while, but MaxPax doing such a good job in just denying additional bases at this point. Knows exactly what is up, leaves a Zealot behind on the left side, knows that this base is not up and running yet. And now he probably thinks it is all about that center base. I wouldn't hate going full Neep here. A pylon, couple cannons, couple batteries, right? I know, we don't have to build a random Nexus anymore, but I think a few cannons and batteries in the center of the map would be a perfectly fine play. It's not my favorite playstyle, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? 20 minutes into Amygdala. It is actually Serral who says, you know what, I'm gonna be the first one that's aggressive. MaxPax is thinking about going for it. Few Zerglings cannot get the job done against the cannons. Corruptors go for the Nexus. Can't quite get the kill. And now it is MaxPax. Yeah, something. Tempest upgrade, right? One-shotting a hatchery, it'd be nice. Tectonic destabilizers. It'd be useful. Not going to lie. If you're flying around with 6, 8, 10 Tempests and you're in range of important hatcheries, yeah, that'd be useful. 124 armies flying against 120. This is really turning into the best of 5 of the ages. A couple of big storms land on the Lurkers as Time Warp went down as well. Few more Lurkers get picked up by the Tempest. Serral does not feel like this is going anywhere. Can't properly defend an extra base. Had enough of Tempest, had enough of Archons, had enough of Storms, and it's MaxPax who wins game 2. The Lurkers can't win the fight on the ground. The Corruptors can't win the fight in range of static defenses. Was that early? It's a bit similar to Serral against Australia of the Masters Colosseum, where people had the exact same conversation. If there is anybody that I trust on leaving the game and he feels it's just not going to go his way anymore, it is Serral. I understand that some of you guys will think that it is early, but in Serral's mind, he just cannot get a next base up and running. He can't win the fight. He cannot run into Max. Yes, he could play for another 10 minutes, but they're already playing for 15 minutes and we're only 2 games in. If Serral feels that's not going anywhere, I trust him. Obviously, these games are mega long, guys, and it's a lot of yapping, so I'm going to take a very tiny break. 2 minutes, and after that, I'll be back. Game 3, Ultra Love, Serral is map choice. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Big shout out to Basilisk for making this happen. Exclamation mark Basilisk in the chat if you guys enjoy the Big Brain Bouts. If you guys enjoy stuff like MaxPax Serral, let them know. Let's try to make it continue. Bam, bam, 1-1. Everything is set. The game is already for game 3. Let's do it. Ultra Love. It is Serral, his map choice. Let's hop on into it.
Round 3. Fight.
In the bottom left side of Ultra Love, we are looking at the main base of the man who was victorious on Amygdala. It is Storm Gaming's very own MaxPax. In the top right side, he's playing one hell of a best of 5 so far, but obviously it takes 2 to tango. This is the man from Basilisk, the Finnish phenom himself. It is Serral. Your goat versus the goat. It's been good so far, Coco. I'm just happy, guys. I was really looking forward to this. I'm just happy. Happy that it's good so far. It could have also been a one-sided 3-0 for anybody. And then it'd be a bit of a letdown, but... After the first game I was already happy. And now I just kind of feel like we're free-rolling the rest of the best of 5. And hope it gets even better. Thank you, Epic Name. I appreciate it, mate. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, without my team I wouldn't be able to organize any of this, so... Make sure to give them some love. And if you're not about the social medias... Just being here is obviously support too. But it never hurts to give a thumbs up on a YouTube video, a follow on the YouTube channel. A follow on Twitter if you use that. Blue Sky is a thing right now. I don't have it, but Basilisk does. They have an Instagram page. And there's also other Starcraft content that will be posted there. There's some Magic the Gathering videos. Cow Hill uploads some science videos. So there's a little bit of everything there. And of course, if you guys can't watch this entire best of 5, it will be posted to the YouTube channel as quickly as possible. Probably tomorrow it will be up. Any deadlock videos? No, I don't think any deadlock videos are planned. I'm afraid that I just don't quite have the skills yet, Matt. But I'm working on it. I've been grinding together with Coco, and we're getting there. That Coco Roddy lane is something that is worth recording sometime soon, but we're not quite there yet. Basilisk Cow Hill, that is a thing, yes. Cow Hill is an official member of Basilisk. The science victory make a little more sense now. We'll continue to try to bring them. That is the weirdest crossover. Is it? A science guy on the science esports team? I don't think it's that strange. Adapt into a Void Ray coming out of Max here on Ultra Love. And Serral has taken the Triangle Expand. There are some Zergs that take this one, but taking the Triangle is definitely a bit more standard. Christmas is still going strong, I see. Now we'll take the 3 down sometime soon. I've just been very busy, guys. We're 10 days into the year, and I've been casting Starcraft 8 out of these 10 days. I've been streaming all 10 days. You need a dedicated day to take everything down. We kind of went all out this year. We got front yard decoration, backyard decoration. We got a little Christmas village. One of these days, if there is nothing to cast, we'll take it all down. Sometime soon. Void Ray into Oracle for Max. In game 1, that led into a second Stargate and a whole bunch of Void Rays. I'd honestly be a little bit surprised if we see that again, but maybe Max has found a couple of sweet timings where he feels the Void Rays can shine. Doesn't seem to be the case this time. It is a Twilight Council, it is a Forge. Could be Zealots with +1 and charge. Trying to be very aggressive early on. More often than not on this level it is Blink Stalkers, but we'll keep an eye on it. Serral not giving anything away so far. Single Overlord is all that MaxPax has found. I'm not stressed over it, Toctaran. I've enjoyed it. But at least the lamp had to go. Because the lamp was taking a little too much shine. I had to get rid of the lamp. The Starcraft statues are back. I don't know if they're going to be there forever. But on a day like today where it's about PvZ, carry a statue, Broodlord statue, it just makes sense. Void Ray is doing his absolute best to get a drone and does get one drone. It's hard to find something against Serral in the early game, guys. But 5 minutes in, MaxPax did find his second worker. The motto, I guess, is it ain't much, but it's honest work. We do see the Blink Stalkers and +1 on the way. No +1 melee Zerglings for Serral this time. MaxPax drops the Revelation, activates Pulsar Beam. And gets a couple of the creep tumors. Prismatic alignment is, you can actually kill the spore. Spores are obviously better on dispatch, but they have less HP, and especially a void ray with prismatic alignment kills the spore crawler that's in production mega quick. They just melt. Might be better to morph it into an evo chamber or something. But Serral saved it. 11 roaches on the way, plus 1 missile attacks on the way. 66 drones. Well, we wonder, is he gonna fire up something like Overlord speed as well? Do we see some drop lords in the near future? Or is this just all for safety? Might be an aggressive Serral here in game 3, guys. Even if he's on 4 bases, this is a lot of units that Serral is producing. And of course Max is going to move out as well the moment that Blink is almost done. You're going to need some units. Well, an interesting dance here between all the roaches, maybe a couple of ravages in the near future of Serral against the Blink Stalkers of MaxPax. Positioning is a key in these kinds of fights. Having a few ravages really makes your life a little bit easier. Even if you have no force fields to worry about, just to zone those stalkers away and make sure that they can't just stay in the same spot and blink back one by one is very nice. Infestation pit is done for Serral. No hive on the way yet. As MaxPax continues to be in his face, Serral is trying to get a couple of Zerglings into the natural. That won't work, but while that's happening, Serral does jump on the Stalkers. He gets a couple of them. Not a bad initial start to a fight. I don't know if we can really fight near a cannon here, as energy recharge gets used on the Oracle immediately, and that's going to allow it to activate Pulsar Beam for a long time. Makes me think back of that game Reynor and MaxPax had in the BBB not too long ago on Whispers of Gold. One of the first best of 5s that we saw on Dispatch. Reynor had a lot of Ravages and a lot of Roaches, but MaxPax had a couple Oracles with energy recharge and they just kept on firing forever. And Reynor was just kind of laughing about it. He's like, what the hell is this patch? These things never run out of energy. Now we only have one Oracle here, but even that is something you have to respect. Haha. Hope you guys had a good journey, Loof, and safe travels for the last bit to make it home. So Lambo said hi. I hope the holiday was awesome. Corrosive Bow gets used. Does not really connect on anything. Serral does get a cancel on the 4th base. MaxPax is kind of busy with these roaches on the bottom right side. Blinks forward, chases a couple of them down. I don't hate it for Serral at this point, guys. With high finishing up, the Lurker then halfway done. MaxPax not really able to be very aggressive at this point. Just kind of felt that Serral has done a lot of little things right to get himself in this position. 12 Hydras about to finish up, but obviously these Hydras will morph into Lurkers the moment the Lurker den is done. Range is going to finish up for the Hydras. The Groove Spines as MaxPax gets his hands on +2. It's a serious amount of Stalkers at this point. Storm is done as well. This is where Serral would love to have a couple of these Lurkers, but they're not quite out yet. Now the Zealots are a bit too far ahead of the rest of the party. It means that they will melt. Lurkers are morphing. Where are they morphing? Over here. And this is where life is so difficult. You have to worry about a couple of Zealots running into your topside base. You have to worry about this War Prism that's on the right. And then you have to worry about this main Stalker Storm Army that is at your front door. MaxPax should kill the Crypto one, but he doesn't. That is a fat Storm. The second Storm is excellent as well. The Corrosive Balls also connect. Serral does have a few Lurkers, but they don't have their sexy Hive Tech upgrades yet. Makes it a little bit harder for the Lurkers to shine the way they normally do. War Prism temporarily chilling as MaxPax's Fleet Beacon is about to finish up. Oh. Well, Lambo will be back tomorrow then, I guess, guys. Get some Lambo Masters Colosseum. Serral will also play against Gumio tomorrow morning, approximately around 2 PM CET. A couple of big storms land. Immortal a little bit too far forward, but the rest of MaxPax's army is still looking kind of good, but can't really stay around in range of these Lurkers. Spire on the way, and a Knight is on the way. Serral is definitely kind of broke. MaxPax has done a really good job in being in Serral's face. The supply of Serral, I don't think it's quite what he likes it to be, but a single Nidus could turn everything around. At this point, it really comes down to who is forced to engage into who. It's a battle of positioning. If Serral has to run into MaxPax's army, it's not gonna go well for the Zerg. But if MaxPax has to run into 12 Lurkers, I mean, Immortals might reign supreme, but most of the time that's not gonna end well for the Protoss. So it truly is a battle of positioning, and a single Nidus could turn everything around. Nidus is going up in the corner of the main base of MaxPax. I would love to follow a little bit of first-person view of the play as well. We are looking at the Nidus. I think that was MaxPax who's paying attention to it, but obviously we have to take a look at this battle too. A couple of the units die. MaxPax was all over it. Void Ray, Prismatic Alignment, saw it immediately. Big moment for Max. Because if you lose your main base, guys, you're going to lose the natural. You're going to lose this base as well as a bunch of Lurkers go up on the edge. Very, very big for MaxPax to find that first Nidus. He's going to find the second one as well. Yes. Even if the rocks is still up, Stalkers can take control of the Zelnaga Watchtower. Serral is making serious progress, and it does not feel like Serral wants to play another 35-minute game. It kind of feels that Serral truly wants to deliver that finishing blow to Max. I don't think that's going to happen. With a Void Ray out, with Tempest out, 3 more Tempests on the production tab. Cannons, batteries, storms. It kind of feels that MaxPax has everything that he wants, that everything that was on his little Christmas list to defend this kind of stuff. The few Zealots will battle Queens. Get 2 Queens, maybe get all 3. No, does not get all 3. Another Nidus got denied, this time in the natural by an Immortal and a Stalker. So, Serral is not going to break MaxPax here. Could have happened if MaxPax would have fumbled, if MaxPax wasn't sharp enough. But what Serral has obviously done is buy some time to get a bit more money. To force MaxPax to be the defender. And Serral is using that time to get his first Corruptors out. The Niduses are not successful in an aggressive manner, but definitely in a defensive way. Keeping MaxPax at bay. A lot of Lurkers now in range of this base, but MaxPax should be able to deal with this. Drops the time warp on it immediately, blinks forward. Serral is not ultra rich yet, so losing all these Lurkers would definitely be painful. MaxPax continues to chase, loses vision there for a little bit, but he won't get all of it. Definitely lost some units, and at the same time, Serral is going to try to make magic happen here. But Max wouldn't be Max if he didn't leave a bunch of units behind. Maybe energy recharge? Did we use it? Yeah, we used it. Already used it to drop a few storms. The roaches are gone, the hydras are gone, and the only thing that's left is 4 Lurkers. Not going to kill this base either. First Corruptors fly in range of the mothership, in the range of the Stalkers and the Archons. Max just looks bulletproof. It kind of feels that the Prince of Denmark has an answer for everything that Serral is coming up with here in Game 3 on Ultralove. And of course it is not over yet, but the bank does not look ultra promising for Serral. He's doing his thing though with a Nidus here and a Lurker there. I feel that MaxPax, by the way, is a little bit more on point when it comes to the air upgrades this time as well. +2 air weapons, halfway done, 14 minutes in. It's a lot quicker than the previous games. MaxPax, his carriers though were on move command there for a little bit, and this is a lovely catch for Serral. Gets the first one, grabs the second one as well. It takes so long to build carriers, so that's a painful loss. And Serral might actually be able to get the cybernetic score here too. And then these air upgrades that I was just raving about are actually going to be stuck for a while. Big moment for Serral. This army obviously does feel a little bit committed by the cyber core falls. No +2 for you. Zealots on the other side of the map are going to win the fight against the Spine. Will deny the Nidus as well. Makes it harder for Serral to defend it. That is a great little move by MaxPax. These Zealots are doing their thing. And the Tempests, I feel like, are very well protected. Near cannons, near Stalkers, Archons, High Templars, Corruptors. Fire a big volley at the mothership, but it's not enough to kill the mothership. Serral's up in supply, but his army feels committed. And has done a lot, but can we justify losing all these units? I mean, the longer it goes on, the better it will be for Serral. MaxPax uses a tiny recall, that's a funny one. Saves the Robo, the Fleet Beacon, the Templar Archives, but also allows a lot of these units to safely unburrow and retreat. You now have an interesting squad of an Immortal, 3 High Templars, a Stalker and a Void Ray. Start of a joke. Few more Zealots getting on top of this base. I get stressed following all the action. There's a silly amount of multitasking when these two guys are going at it. This would be a very bad moment, guys, to be an F2 addict. That select all army hotkey may get you a couple wins on the ladder, but it would not serve you well when you're playing a game like this. It is exhausting to watch. Can't imagine how it is to play. I have played video games at a high level in the past, guys. As a little Warcraft 3 gamer, I went around the world, but my games did not look like this. I walked around with a Farseer, I dropped the chain lightning every now and then, but what these kids do is pretty magnificent. Templar's getting more shots off. Serral has a few dead Zerg units, I guess mostly links. Walked into a few storms. The Tempest count is pretty serious, but 15 Corruptors, is that enough to jump on top of the Archons, the storms, the motherships? I don't think this is the fight for Serral. Even if he's up in supply, those Corruptors will melt, and Serral is forced to tap out. It is the Prince of Denmark who weathers the storm, drops the storms, and takes the 2-1 lead. Protoss is so back, guys. Protoss is so back. In game 4, what was it? I know the last game would be played on El Dorado. Game 4 would be played on King's Cove. And don't forget that if MaxPax wins his best of 5 tomorrow against Zaun, and Serral wins his best of 5 tomorrow against Gumio, next Thursday or Friday, they'll play against each other again in the semi-finals of the upper bracket of the Masters Coliseum. What is the win condition without Vipers? Are you trying to trigger all the high-level Zergs in my chat? The Zergies don't like it if you talk too much about the Viper. I don't want to say I believe in the Viper, but I probably believe in it a little more than I... It's situational. This game was obviously... I mean, there's so much that happens. It is not as simple as like looking at a late game scenario here and be like, where are the Vipers? Like, they're in each other's face. It's non-stop trading. It's non-stop action back and forth. It's attack, defense, movement all around. Serral was never very rich in this game. It was even hard to make it up to Lurkers. And he used the Nidus to obviously buy some time for himself and get some Corruptors out. But obviously at one point MaxPax says, alright, you're buying time, I'm buying time. And he did a great job with the Zealot counterattacks, keeping Serral somewhat poor. It is not that simple, mate. At this level, nothing is simple. As we're gonna load into game 4. King's Cove.
Round 4. Fight!
This man has never lost a best of 5 in the Big Brain Bouts. Now, he hasn't played a whole lot of them, but I believe 2 times against Clem, 1 time against Reynor, and 1 time against ShoWTime. I could be missing one, but I believe he has a perfect 4-0 record on the Friday night. Will today be the day that he loses a best of 5 for the first time ever in the BASILISK Big Brain Bouts? It is Serral. Top left side of King's Cove, we are looking at the main base of the Prince of Denmark, playing some stunning Protoss here on the Friday night. He is always ready to play. He has never said no to a single invitation I send him. What's not to love about this kid? He's amazing. I hope, obviously, we can admire his play offline one day. But it's so fun to watch him do his thing. The very best in what he does. It is Storm Gaming's MaxPax. 1 map away from victory. The first time in 14 months, guys, that MaxPax and Serral play an official best of 5 against each other. Or best of anything, for that matter. Of course, there's been the occasional ladder game. You guys have seen MaxPax stream. You guys have seen Serral stream. They've ran into each other a few times. But an official best of series with a few days heads up is obviously different. Reynor won against MaxPax in a very convincing way just a few days ago, right? Reynor did win, yes. Reynor has a very good record against MaxPax. In the last 10 times that Reynor played against Max, Reynor won 9. MaxPax only won once. That was the second to last time in the Big Brain Bouts. Give or take. Basically when this patch came out, so whenever that was, 2 months ago. MaxPax had a 3-1 victory over Reynor. Up to that point, Reynor won like 8 in a row. So MaxPax won on the Big Brain Bouts Friday night, and after that they've had one more series, and Reynor won that one again. But Reynor and Serral have always been stylistically a little bit different in ZVP. And perhaps on this patch, on this map pool, Reynor's style could be more efficient, could be more effective. Historically, Zerg has been mega strong against Protoss in the ultra late game, and Serral is the very best in the ultra late game, or the end game as some people call it. Right now, I think Zerg will still have their moments and will absolutely shine, but it's no longer like, oh, Zerg is maxed out, have 3-3 upgrades, easy win for the Zerg. Like, that's no longer a thing, and it's also mega hard to get there. Very often people look at scenarios they think is the late game, but it's not really the late game. Nice little move here, by the way, by Serral, as 4 Zerglings sneak into the natural right when the Adept leaves. Stalker is almost out. MaxPax really doesn't want to lose any probes here, doesn't want to lose the pylon either. So far it's a perfect. Did he use recall? Where did that Adept come from? Did we recall? Yeah, he recalled, guys. So MaxPax left with his Adept, and he decided to recall. It was basically here, halfway across the map, and he recalled it. Pi, can you ban that guy? Heavy Metal Finland. A 10-minute timeout. Or anybody. 10 minutes into the corner. Hello, Bike Rush. Ward for Serral? Yeah, I think 4 Zerglings. Keeping your opponent in the dark. A lot of lost mining time. If you take a little look at the income advantage, you can see that it has a bit of an impact. I don't hate it. It is, of course, a bit of an investment to make 4 links that early, run them to the other side of the map, but I'd say it's okay. Not the slam dunk victory. It would have been amazing if he gets 2 or 3 workers there, but you're not gonna get 3 probes against MaxPax with 4 links. You'll get them against me and a lot of other Protosses on the ladder, but you're not gonna get a couple probes against Max with 4 Zerglings. Revelation gets dropped. It's interesting to see how quickly MaxPax gets on top of denying that creep, making sure that Serral doesn't get too much vision. As the other Oracle was still active in the bottom side of the map, guns down 2 more drones. Not a bad start for Max now, I'd say all things considered. Oracles are alive, slowing down the creep, forcing Serral to morph a couple drones into an extractor, into an Evo chamber, and still getting 2 kills. Serral goes back to the +1 melee opening that we also saw in game 2. That one did not go Serral's way, but to be fair, I think that's a very annoying map for Zerglings. Because of all those rocks on the amygdala, it's just very hard to get surrounds, right? It's very hard to set up a clever engagement. You basically always come in from the obvious angle, because the entire center of the map is blocked out by Zerglings. I think Kingscove should allow Serral some more creativity with his Zergling movement. Oracle activates Pulsar Beam once more, zaps down another Creep Tower. Gateway count, guys, is 6 gates, pretty early. As the Oracle in the main base managed to find 2 more drones as well. This could be one of these games where MaxPax moves out and he actually brings the probe to build a pylon and a gateway on the other side of the map. I'm not saying that he's going to do that, because his worker count is very high. Nah, by the looks of it, he won't. I guess Max is okay with just being the defender. Kingscove is a very good defensive map, because you should feel mega safe on your first 3 bases, and then especially as a Protoss, if you have a lot of high range units or long range units, it should be easy to secure a 4th and maybe a 5th. But MaxPax is still gonna find himself on the edge of creep, and this is where using those oracles so effectively to keep the creep threat at bay is really gonna pay dividends. Serral does not have a lot of creep to work with. Stasis trap gets activated. +1 already done on these stalkers too. Serral forced to build a lot of links. This is already scary, guys, because if Serral takes a very bad fight, this can go down south real quick. If we walk into a mega stasis, we could be in serious trouble. It's only 69 drones at the moment. We have an infestation pit, no hive tech on the way. Serral's still confident enough to split off some Zerglings. And he's gonna try to deny the 4th base of MaxPax as MaxPax continues to get in range of Serral. Kills an Overlord, kills a Queen. The Zergling should be able to get a cancel on the 4th. Is MaxPax paying attention? I assume he is. Yes, he is. Storm on the way, so that's a nice little victory for Serral. But this problem in the center of the map is still there. I do agree with that, mate. It's 10 out of 10 what Max has been doing when it comes to denying the creep spread. The Serral this time seems pretty committed, trying to get a little wraparound on this army, but MaxPax's Oracle positioning is very good. There's Pulsar Beam available. And Serral is once more forced to disengage. Very little creep to work with. Hive though, in the midst of all of this, okay, Zerglings were thinking of a surround. Decide against it, we'll go for that 4th base instead. This time I don't think Serral is going to get too much here. MaxPax's main army is nearby. Can the Zerglings somehow get a cancel? If we really commit, we will get it. We're going to lose a lot of links, if not all the links, but we will. Oh, that's a kill. That is a kill. MaxPax perhaps expecting Serral to just run away at one point because he thought MaxPax would cancel it, but an uncharacteristic mistake on the side of the Prince and loses 400 minerals there. Yeah, of course, with losing all these links while getting the kill is more than worth it. It's a proper victory for Serral. If it was just a cancel, it's maybe questionable to lose that many links this early, but even then, I think you're okay with it. If we're getting a kill, it's mega for Serral. And it is also keeping MaxPax at home. Now the next move out of Max is not just going to be a couple of Stalkers, it's going to be 29 Stalkers and 6 High Templars with Storm. As +2 is halfway done as well. Serral again, by the way, looking for a tiny run by, but this time MaxPax more than ready. We've got cannons, we've got Zealots. Slow Zealots, but we got them anyway. There is a War Prism as well. On the bottom side of the map, MaxPax blinks forward immediately. He wants to take control of this position. It is very risky, but if it works out, it could be genius. A couple of big storms land, more big storms land. Wow. What a move by the Prince of Denmark. Blinks, one-shots a lurk, and now we've got that War Prism in the bottom side of the map. The Zealots got warped in. We could get some Zealots in the main base as well, and this is where it becomes so difficult, even for Serral, to deal with all of this. The Lynx, they have +1 melee. They don't have Adrenal Glands yet. MaxPax blinks forward again on top of the lurkers, knowing that Serral has units at the bottom, has units in the main base. For now the lurkers hold, but it does not seem like the lurkers will continue to hold, or will they? They reposition, it is good enough. But there are still Zealots in the 3rd. I think there are even Zealots in the natural. There are Zealots in the main. He is literally everywhere at once. And that is going to do it, guys. MaxPax is going to win the first best of 5 that these two guys have played against each other in over 14 months with a 3-1 score. Max is the first player ever to defeat Serral in the BASILISK Big Brain Bouts. A clinic of how to play high-level Protoss. Serral took the 1-0 lead after an absolute banging game on Abyssal, but it is MaxPax who wins the next 3. Wow. What a series, guys. What a series. Bike Rastasha, 1 point for once. GG's. Congrats, Max. Serral has gone offline. We'll let MaxPax know that we were proud. Man, that was a best of 5, guys. We were way ahead of schedule all night long, but yeah, that series made up for it. The first 3, sure, they were a little bit short, and we had a couple of one-sided series, but of course today was always about MaxPax against Serral. And I can't say I'm disappointed. Obviously, always sad to see Serral lose, but MaxPax was absolutely fantastic. We'll settle that prediction. I think the biggest channel point prediction that we have ever had on this channel. Holy smokes, we had a lot of people watching as well. 3.4k. Look at you guys. A little PVZ gets the people going on the Friday night. 60% believed in Serral, 7.9 million points, but 5.2 million points were wagered on MaxPax. This would be a very bad misclick, and a lot of people would never forgive me. I'll click very, very safely, guys. I get nervous. I know how much you guys care. We'll complete the prediction. MaxPax gets the dub. He gets 150 buckies. Serral will still get 50 bucks for playing. And of course, has some stuff to think about. There is a good chance that these guys will run into each other next weekend. So if you guys love this, keep an eye on Masters Coliseum, a very big online event that is running throughout the entire month of January. Tomorrow, we'll see both of them in action. At 1 p.m., MaxPax is going to play against Zone. And as soon as that best of 5 is over, you guys will once more get Serral gameplay. And Serral is going to play Gumio. If they both win, they'll be playing on the 16th of January, which is a Thursday. Yeah, so not Friday, but Thursday. So if they both win, next Thursday, 1 p.m., they'll be having a rematch. Oh, I'm done. Holy smokes. That was an intense best of 5. I've been live for 9 hours and 30 minutes. We did take a tiny break somewhere in the afternoon, but I'm done, guys. That's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed it. A very big shout out to Basilisk for making this happen. Once more, if you guys love the Big Brain Bouts, we've done 80 editions, guys. That is $40,000 that Basilisk has given out to the Starcraft 2 scene, which I think is amazing. Well, it's been more than that with obviously all the other things they've been doing too. My Chrome is crashing. I hope that my PC is not crashing, but hey, if it had to happen, let it happen now. MaxPax said thank you and GG's. I can't click on the chat anymore. Thank you. Jay can make it. He's too busy. The memer of Reynor's Discord. Thank you, mate, for the 5 gifted subs. Alerts do work here, by the way, guys. They don't work in-game. We disable them for the VODs, but they work here. Yeah. I'm done. I don't think I have anything.